Hi friends, thanks for clicking on this video. This is Bakappa. In this chapter 5, you will be learning about how to perform data-driven testing using JSON file, Excel file, CSV file, and then we will see how to implement the page object model design pattern. Then we will see about the fixture and how to set the viewport size, and also we will be discussing about how to run your Playwright test on the multiple environments. Let's get started with chapter 5. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to read .env file configurations in Playwright with TypeScript. So it is very easy and simple. Just you need to install the npm install .env -- save. So let's quickly create a new spec file and we will see how to read the .env file configurations. So here I'm creating one folder called chapter 5. Under chapter 5, I'm creating a new spec file called 01. So here I'll say read env file underscore test dot spec dot ts. So that's it. So here I will go to the one of the spec file and I will copy the test from the previous spec file. So that's it, guys. So in this test, if you see this particular test, so it is very simple. So let me explain you. So before that, let's update the test title. So here I'll say read env file config in Playwright. So that's it, guys. So if you see this particular test, firstly we are going to the google.com, then we are searching with the some keywords here, and then we are getting the results and we are clicking on the playlist, and at the end we are validating the title of the web page, right? So what I will do is, in the line number 9 we are passing the www.google.com, right? So we are passing the URL here. So let's read it from the .env file and we will pass on to the goto method. So let's quickly create a env file inside the project folder. So here I'm creating a file called .env, and inside the .env file I'm adding a property called Google underscore URL. Then here I will add the URL, this particular URL. So that's it, guys. So let's read this particular URL from the .env in the spec file. To access the any configuration or any value from the .env file, so what you need to do is you need to pass the process.env followed by the property name here, that is the key name. So here we have given the key name as Google URL. So let's pass the URL here. So that's it, guys. Now if you run this particular test, right, guys, so it will not work. So let me keep it in the single quotes. So this particular test will not work properly because we have not installed the .env package, right? So let's run the test and it will get failed. So let me run the test now. Because it is unable to get the URL, so our test will get failed. And if you see here guys, so it is unable to read the URL. So that's the reason our test is getting failed. Now, before installing the .env package or a plugin, so you need to enable few lines in the playwright.config.ts file. So you can go here, and if you scroll to the top, so you need to uncomment these 3 lines of code. That's it guys. So here you will see the error. So let it be there. Now I will go to this particular page and I will copy the command. By using this we can install the .env package. So here I will go to the terminal. So let's install the .env package by using npm install .env --save. So that's it guys. So we are able to install the .env plugin. So let's wait for some time, and if you see here guys, in the playwright.config.ts file we had the error here. That error gone. So let's save and close it. Now let's try to run the same test now. So this time we should be able to fetch the Google URL from the .env file. So let's run the test now, and this time and our test should get pass. See guys, we are able to fetch the URL, and let's go to the VS Code now. And our test is perfectly working fine. And we are able to fetch the configuration from the .env file. So this is how you can keep all the configurations or any data in the .env file, and this is how you can fetch it from the .env file in Playwright Automation Framework. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to perform data-driven testing in Playwright with TypeScript by using the JSON file. So we will see firstly how to create JSON file, then we will read the JSON file test data, then finally I will talk about how to pass each set of test data to the Playwright test. So if you are getting the file import issues, so you can create a one file called global.d.ts file, and you need to add this 4 lines of code inside the global.d.ts file, and then you need to include this particular ts file in the tsconfig.json file. Now let's get into the VS Code. Let's start creating the JSON file first. So here I will create a new folder called test-data. And inside this test-data folder, I am adding another 2 folders. So here I will say first folder as dev, and I will create another folder called QA. So I am adding the JSON file inside the QA folder. So here I will give the file name as testdata.json. So that's it guys. So here I will add the 2 sets of test data. So here I will give the key name as test data set1, and I will add the 2 values here. So first key name is skill1, and I will add the value as playwright by testers top. So similarly I will add the another key and value here. So I will update the key as skill2, and then I will update the value as Cypress by testers top. So this is the one set of test data. So you can add the n number of keys and respective values here. So as of now, I am adding only 2 key and respective values. So this is a one set of test data. So let's add the second set of test data. So here I will update the JSON object name as test data2, and here I will keep the key name as it is. I will not update the key names. So here I will update the value as JavaScript by tester stock. Then I will update the skill 2 inside the test data set 2 as API testing by tester stock. So this is all about how you create the test data. So like this, you can add n number of JSON objects here and n number of keys and respective values. So I am just, for the demo purpose, I am adding 2 sets of test data and I am adding only 2 key and respective values here. Now let's create a spec file under chapter 5. So here I will give the spec file name as 02 underscore data driven testing using JSON file dot spec dot ts. So that's it, guys. So let's go to the one of the spec file and I will copy the test from the previous spec file. So I will paste it here. So this test is very simple, guys. So we are going to the google.com, then we are searching with the keywords and we are getting the results, and then we are clicking on the playlist. Finally, we are validating the page title here. So if you look at the line number 12, right? So here we are hard coding the search keywords. So in this data driven testing using JSON file, so we will fetch the test data from the JSON file and then we will pass on to the fill method. So whenever we are passing the multiple sets of test data, so based on the different search keywords, it has to search with the keywords and it has to perform the next set of validations. So test is very simple, guys. Now let's update the test title here. So here I'll say data driven testing using JSON file in Playwright. So for time being, I will comment this whole test. Then we will come back to this test bit later. So now we have already created a JSON file. So let's import the JSON file. So here I'll say import. Then I will give the variable as test data from. Then here we have to specify the location of the JSON test data file. So here we have to go to the test data and inside this we have the environment folders. So we have kept our test data inside the QA and inside the QA we have the test data.json. So we are done with creating the test data, and then also we have created a new spec file and also we have imported the JSON file in the spec file. Now what you need to do is you need to define the test data structure. So however you have defined the created test data, right? In the similar way, you need to define the test data for the type safety purpose. So I will copy this whole data and I will come to the spec file. So here I'm defining the structure of the test data for a type safety purpose. So here I'm saying type and sorry guys, then I'm providing the variable name as test data. Then here I'm assigning the structure of the test data. So simply I'll paste it. So we have total two sets of test data, right? So here we have to specify the key names, and also you need to specify the, so firstly you need to specify the JSON object names, and inside that you need to specify the key names, and also you need to add the what type of this particular key contains the data. So let's specify the key name. Simply I will remove the double quotes. So skill 1 is accepting the type of data is string. So every skill is accepting the type of data is string type. So let's add the similar JSON object for the test data set 2 as well. That's it guys. So let's update the key names. So this is our structure of the our test data, right? So I have declared it because of the type safety purpose. So whenever you are accessing the any key and respective value, so it is very easy by using this JSON object name or a dataset object name, you can access the respective key and a value. After reading the JSON file test data, so data is present inside the test data. So we have to convert this test data into the our internal test data type. So that's a reason. So here I am writing one line of code as test data as our internal type of test data object. Then I will assign back to the one constant variable called typed test data. So this particular variable contains the each and every set of test data from the Excel now. So let's write a simple for in loop. By using the for in loop, we can access the each and every set of test data. So here I'm writing for in loop. Then here I will pass the our typed test data. This particular variable contains the each and every sets of test data from the JSON file. So here I will give the variable name as data set name. So whenever, let's say for example, first time this particular for loop is running and it gets the each and every JSON object name inside the data set name. So once we are having the data set name, say for example, first time this for loop is running, so we will have the test data set 1. So by using this one, I can access the any key and any value from the test data set 1. So like this, whenever second time this for loop is running, so we will have the test data set 2 here, right? By using this data set name, I can access the each and every value from the respective JSON object or a data set object name, right? So now, so this particular typed test data contains the list of JSON objects, right? So I will use this particular typed test data. Then here I will pass the data set name, right? Then so here I'll have to say this particular data set name is matching with the our internal test data type. So that's the reason here I'll say data set name as a key of our internal test data type. Then I will assign back to the one variable called constant skill. So by using this skill, I can access the each and every value from the each set of JSON objects. So almost we are done with accessing the data from the JSON file. By using this skill, I can access the any key from the any JSON object, because we are iterating through the each and every JSON object. So basically, for example, I want to access the skill one, right, from each JSON object. So simply I'll use the skill one like this, right? So now let's bring the Playwright test inside this. So I will go and uncomment this particular test first. So let's remove this part. As of now, it is not required. So I'll cut it. So I'm putting this test inside the for loop. So here, sorry guys. So let's make this particular test title as unique, because we are running with the multiple sets of test data. So I will put this in the single quotes. Then, so I will access our skill object, and I will print the skill one here. You can print skill 1 or 2 or any field name if you have added multiple keys and respective values, so that every time this particular test title will be unique. Otherwise you will get the error as duplicate test title if you are not adding the unique test title. So that's it guys. Now in the line number 26, so we have to pass the search keywords. So if we go to our test data file, so first set of test data contains the skill one as Playwright by tester stock. So whenever first time for loop is running, so it pulls this particular set of test data. Second time it pulls the second set of test data. So that means firstly our script will be searching with the Playwright by tester stock. So that will be the first time of execution. So whenever second time our test is running, we should be able to search with the JavaScript by tester stock. Now let's go to our spec file. So by using the skill, you can access the any key and a value here. So here I'll specify the skill.skill1 here. Sorry guys. So let's pass the link name here by using the skill.skill1. And similarly, so we are validating the title of the web page here also, right? So I will pass the respective search keyword here also. So that's it guys. So we are done with implementing the data-driven testing in Playwright using JSON file. Now it's the time to run the test. So first time our test should search with the Playwright by tester stock because we are passing the skill one there. Second time we should be able to search with the JavaScript by tester stock. So let me run this test. So firstly we are searching with the Playwright by tester stock, and second time we are searching with the JavaScript by tester stock. So even I can here I'll pass the this time skill 2. So I will pass the same skill in the title also. So this time if I go to the test data file, so firstly we should be able to search with the Cypress by tester stock. That is the first time of execution. So whenever second time our test is running, we should be able to search with the API testing by tester stock. So let's run the test once again, and also we will check the test report also. So we are able to search with the Cypress by tester stock, and now we are able to search with the API testing by tester stock, right? And our test is perfectly working fine. There are no failures. So let's open the test report now. So here I will open the index.html report, and if you see here guys, so we are able to pass the multiple sets of test data to the Playwright test by using the JSON file. So this is how you can perform the data-driven testing using JSON file in Playwright with TypeScript. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to perform data-driven testing in Playwright with TypeScript using CSV file. So firstly, we will install the CSV-parse plugin. Then we will create the CSV file test data, and then we will create a new spec file. So that is where we are creating our simple test, and then we will read the CSV file test data, and after that we will pass the each set of CSV test records into our Playwright test. So firstly, let's install the plugin called CSV-parse. So here I will go to the terminal, and then I will enter the command called npm space install space CSV-parse. So let's install the plugin. So plugin is installed here, right? So after installing the plugin, so let's quickly create one CSV file inside the test-data folder. So inside the QA folder, I'm creating the CSV file here, testdata.csv. So usually data will be present in the CSV file with the comma separated, right? So here I will go to this particular CSV file, and I will add the test data there. So here I will open the CSV file. So firstly, let's add the headers. So after adding the headers, I will add the two sets of test data. So here I'm giving the header as skill1 and comma and skill2. So respective test data also can be specified just below the headers with the comma separated. So here I'm adding the skill1 as Playwright by testers talk. I'll put a comma. So let's add the skill2. So here I'll say Cypress by testers talk. So this is our one set of test data. So let's add the second set of test data. So here I'll pass the JavaScript by tester stock. So this is our skill1, and let's pass the skill2 as API testing by tester stock. So that's it guys. We are done with creating the CSV file test data. So let's close this. So if I go to the CSV file, and you should be able to see the test data here. So we are done with creating the test data now. Now let's create a fresh spec file. So already we have created one spec file in the previous Playwright tutorial called 0 to data driven testing using JSON file, right? So I will copy the same spec file and I'll paste it inside the chapter 5. Then I will rename the spec file as 03 data driven testing using CSV. Then I will add .spec.ts. So that's it, guys. We are done with creating the spec file also. So let me maximize this window. So I will delete this first few lines of code, and I will also delete the import also. So for time being, I will comment this entire test. We will come back to this test bit later. Now let's import the CSV parser, right? So here I'll say import as parse from the csv-parse/sync. So we have imported the CSV-parser now. And after that, you need to import the file system fs from fs. So similarly, let's import the path also. So why I am importing fs and path is to work with the CSV file. Mainly we will access the location of the CSV file and we will access the data from the CSV file by using the fs and path. Now we are done with installing the plugin, and also we have created the test data file, and also we have created a fresh spec file also. And then we have imported the few things. Now let's define the test data structure for the type safety purpose. So here I'll say type followed by, I'm giving the one variable name as test records, right? Then inside the flower brackets. So here I need to specify the header names. So if you go to our CSV file, we have given the header as skill1 and we have specified the value of type is string, right? Similarly, so let's pass the skill2 as well. So we had only two headers. So we are passing we are defining those two headers here in this test records for the type safety purpose. While accessing the data, you can specify the key name easily or header names easily. Now let's access the test data from the CSV file. So here I'm creating the one constant variable called records. So after accessing the data from the CSV file, so we will assign back to the records variable. Then, so here I'm using the parse, and inside the parse, we have to pass the two parameters. The first one is the file system. So that is where we are passing the location of the CSV file. So fs.readFileSync. Inside this method, you need to pass the path.join. So inside the join, I'm passing the directory name, comma, and here we have to specify the path of our CSV file test data. So we have the test-data folder. Inside that we have a QA folder, and inside that we have the CSV test data file. So that's it, guys. So this is the first parameter. Then Next, you need to pass the another object where we are specifying the configurations. So here I'm passing the one configuration called columns as true. So here I'm saying that read the each and every column, then skip empty lines as a true. So if there are empty lines, just skip it. So that is what I'm saying here. So that's it, guys. So it's very simple. So for the parse, I'm passing the two parameters. First one is the location of the our CSV test data file, and second one is we are passing the few configurations for reading the test records from the CSV file. So after reading the test data from the CSV file, I will convert this test data into the our local object of type test records. So here I'll say as test records object, because after reading this CSV file, so I will get the data in the form of object. So that's the reason I'm specifying the object here. Right now, this particular records variable contains the each and every set of test data from the CSV file. So just we have to iterate through each and every set of test data. So that's the reason. So simply I will write the for of loop here. By using the for of loop, I will get the each and every row of test data and I will pass on to the Playwright test. So here I'll pass records and here I'll say record. That's it, guys. Now I will scroll down. So let me uncomment this particular test. So I will just take out only the test from the below code. Then we will delete the not required code. So that's it, guys. Now, so if I go to the our CSV file, so whenever first time our test is running, so we will get the this particular row of test data. So whenever our test is running second time, so we will get the second row of test data. So in our case, so let's try to read the skill 1 column test data. So you can try to access the even skill 2, or if you have added multiple skills here, you can try to access it. So in our case, just we are reading the skill 1. So now let's go to the our spec file. So by using the records, so I will access the skills here. So here we have already specified the header names, and simply here I'll pass the skill 1. So similarly, so let's pass the record.skill1. So here I'll say record.skill1 while clicking on the playlist also, and at the end we are validating the web page title here also, right? So if our test is running, so as we are reading the only skill 1, first time our test will be searching with the Playwright by tester stock, and second time our test will be searching with JavaScript by tester stock. So like this, you can add n number of headers or n number of sets of test data. So just demo purpose, I have added 2 headers and 2 sets of test data. You can add multiple sets of test data here and multiple columns and respective value also. So let's close this CSV file, and now our test is ready, guys. So let's run the test now. So first time we should be able to search with the Playwright by tester stock. That is done. Second time we are searching with JavaScript by tester stock. Now this time, so here I will pass the skill 2. So wherever I am passing so let me update the test title also as CSV. So wherever I am passing the skill 1, this time I will pass the skill 2. So this time, so if I go to the CSV file, so firstly we should be searching with the Cypress by tester stock, and second time we should be able to search with API testing by tester stock. So let's again run the test. So firstly we are searching with Cypress by tester stock, and then we are searching with API testing by tester stock. So let's go to our test report. So let's check the report also. So I will open the index.html report, and if you see here guys, so we are able to run our test with the multiple sets of test data. So this is how you can read the test data from the CSV file, and this is how you can perform the data driven testing using CSV file in the Playwright with TypeScript. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to perform data driven testing in Playwright with TypeScript using Excel file. So firstly, we are going to install the plugin called Excel SX. Then we will create the Excel file with the test data. Then we are going to create a utility function which is going to read the Excel file, and then we will be creating the new spec file. And once we have created a spec file, so we will call the utility function in the spec file, and after getting the each and every set of test data from the Excel file, we are going to pass on to the Playwright test. Here I will go to the VS Code and I'll start installing the plugin. Here you need to go to the terminal, and here you need to add the command called npm followed by install and then Excel SX. So that's it. So we are installing the Excel SX library. So we are done with installation. Now let's create the test data file. So already I have created a test data file. So let me copy this file and I will put it inside the test-data and QA folder, and I will go inside the QA folder here and I'll paste it. So that's it guys. We are done with creating the test data file. So let's open the test data file now here, and if you see here guys, so just I have added two columns, skill 1 and skill 2, and then I have added three sets of test data here, right? So like this you can add n number of columns like this, and you can also add the n number of sets of test data here like this. Okay, so as of now I have added only two columns and three sets of test data. So this is all about the test data. Now let's quickly create the TypeScript file inside the src folder. So firstly I'm creating the one folder called utils, and inside the utils I'm creating the file called excel helper.ts. So in this TypeScript file, so firstly we need to import the Excel SX plugin. Then we are going to define the test data structure. Then third thing is we are going to create the method which is going to read our Excel file. So here I'll say to read Excel file. So let's start with the importing the Excel SX library. So here I'll say import as star. So here I'm giving the alias name as Excel. From then here I will specify our Excel SX plugin. So that's it. And similarly, I will import the FS also to read our Excel file. Import FS from FS. So that's it, guys. We are done with import. Now let's define the test data structure. So here I'm creating the one interface called test record. So that's it. And inside this interface, we are going to define all the column names. So in our case, we have the skill 1, which will accept the type of data is string. So similarly, let's add the skill 2 as well. So here this particular field also will be accepting the type of data is string type. So that's it, guys. So we are done with defining the test data structure also. So if you look at this particular Excel file, right? So which contains just 2 columns. So if you are added multiple columns, you need to specify all the columns inside this particular interface. Let's start creating the utility function which is going to read our Excel file. So firstly I will say export and followed by function and then function name as read Excel file. So this is going to accept one parameter called file path of type string. So that's it, guys. So let's list out here what are the steps we are going to do it within this utility function. So firstly, we will read the Excel file as a binary string. Then by using the binary string, we are going to parse into the workbook. So parse into the workbook, and by using the workbook, we are going to get the first sheet. So here we'll say get first sheet. And once we have the first sheet, so I will convert this sheet data into so here we'll say convert sheet into JSON. Then once we are having the data in the form of JSON, that is into the raw data, I will convert our raw data into our test record type. Then finally we will return our test record from the read Excel file. So here I will start with reading the Excel file by using our fs dot read file sync. Then So this will accept the file path as a parameter. Then we will assign back to the one constant variable called file. Now I will use our Excel SX library, and then here I'm calling to the method called read. So which will accept the binary string as the parameter. So here I will pass the file to the read method. So this is going to return me the workbook type, and I will assign back to the constant variable called workbook. Now by using this workbook I can get the first sheet from the Excel file. So here I'll say workbook dot sheets, and inside the sheets again I will use the workbook dot sheet names. So here I will specify the 0 index. So here I'm specifying the 0 so that I can get the first sheet from the Excel file. So this is going to return us the sheet type. So that's the reason I will assign back to the one variable called sheet. So that's it, guys. Now let's convert sheet into the JSON. So again I will use the Excel import, then I will call to the method called utils dot. So here you need to use the sheet to JSON. So you need to call to this particular method and you need to pass the two parameters. First one is the sheet and second one is you need to pass the object, and that contains the which row contains the header values. So here I'll say header colon 1, because first row contains the header names. So that's the reason here I'm adding the header colon first. That's it, guys. Now I will assign back to the any type of array. Then here I'm creating the another variable called raw data. So here basically what I'm doing is, so firstly we are converting the Excel sheet data into the JSON, and also I'm adding the sheet name, sheet, and also I'm passing the header where exactly it is present. And this is going to return me the any type of data in the form of array. So that's the reason I'm assigning the type of data this particular variable contains is any type of array of values. So that's it, guys. Now let's convert the raw data into the test record types, whatever we have defined the test data structure. So let's use the raw data. By using the raw data, here I'm calling to the method called slice, and I'm passing the value as 1 because I don't want to read the first, I don't want to consider the first row header name as the test data. So that's it, guys. Now next you need to call to the method called map, and inside the map also you need to define the one variable called column. And I'm defining the type is any type of data here. Then here is a callback function. Sorry, guys. So let me go back here. So let me add the another open and close brackets here. So that's it, guys. So inside this, what we have to do is we have to specify the which column contains the which header, right? So we have the two headers. One is skill1, and here I'll use the column. So skill1 is present in the column 0th, right? Similarly, so we have the skill2 in the column 2. So I will copy the same thing once again. So let me pass it as a colon here. So similarly, I will pass the skill2 where exactly it is present in the Excel file. So let me add the column name as, header name as skill2. So it is very simple, guys. Now, again, I will assign back to the, so after getting the data in the form of key and respective value, so I will convert this into the our test record type, whatever we have defined the test data structure, right? So this will be an array after reading the all the test data. So here I'll say array. Then similarly, I will assign back to the another variable called records. So this will have the array of records. This particular records variable contains the test record type of array of values, right? Then finally I will return the records variable here by using the return statement. So that's it, guys. We are done with implementing the utility function that will read the Excel file and which will convert into the our test data structure. So far what we have done is, firstly we have installed the Excel SX plugin, then we have created a test data file, then we have created the Excel helper TypeScript file. So here we have implemented the one utility function called read Excel file, right? So which will accept the file path. So let's quickly create the spec file. Then we'll call to this particular method and we have to pass the file path. So here I will go to the chapter 5 and already we have created the one spec file in the previous Playwright tutorial called 03 data driven testing using csv.spec.ts file. So simply I will copy this spec file and I will paste it in the same folder. Then let's rename the spec file. So here I'll say 04 data driven testing excel.spec.ts. So that's it. So here I will go to our spec file. So let me maximize this window. So here I will keep only the path import. So we need a path to get our Excel file path. So I will delete the rest of the stuffs here. So that's it, guys. Now what I will do is, so firstly we have to import our utility function, right? So this particular function we have to import it in our spec file. So let's import it by using the import, and here I'll say read Excel file. So that's it. Now by using the path, I will get our Excel file path. So here I'll say path dot join, and inside this, here I'll say directory name, then I'll put comma. So here we have to specify the location of the our Excel file. So this Excel file is present inside the test-data QA, and we have the test data.xlsx. So let's specify the path of that. So here I'll say two dots slash test-data slash QA slash test data dot xlsx. So that's it, guys. So we are done with getting the Excel file path. Then I will assign back to the variable called file path. So now we have the file path. So let's call to the method called read Excel file, and here we have to pass the Excel file path. So I'll pass the file path variable here. So this is going to return us the test records. So that's the reason I'm creating the variable called records. So that's it, guys. It's very simple now. So here we are getting the Excel file path. Then we are passing Excel file path into the read Excel file. So this particular function is going to return us the all the test data from this Excel file, right? So if you see our spec file, so already we are using the records. So here we are using the for of loop. By using the for of loop, we are iterating through the all the test data, right? So here I'm using the record dot skill2. So let's pass the skill1. So if I'm passing the skill1, whenever our first time test is running, so our test will be searching with the Playwright by tester stock, and whenever second time our test is running, so we are going to search in the Google with the Cypress by tester stock, and so on, right? So let's pass the skill1 here. So here I'll say record dot skill1. So similarly, so this is where we are just providing the unique name of the test title. Then, so mainly we are searching with the some keywords, different keywords. So that is what we are getting it from the Excel file. So in the 20th line, so here we are searching with the keywords. So whatever we have provided in the our Excel file. Then we are clicking on the playlist here. Then finally we are validating the web page title, right? So that's it, guys. We are done with the implementation of data driven testing using Excel file. Now let's run the test. So first time our test is running. So we are searching with the Playwright by tester stock. This time we are searching with Cypress by tester stock, and this time we are searching with API testing by tester stock, right? And if you see here, guys, so our tests are perfectly working fine. There are no issues. So again, so this time we will pass the skill2, and if you look at this skill2, so firstly we should be able to search with the JavaScript by tester stock. Second time we should be able to search with Postman by tester stock. Third time we should be able to search with rest assured by tester stock. Let's pass the skill2 this time. So here I'll say record dot skill2. So that's it guys. Now let's run the test once again. So our test is running, and if you see here guys, second test is running I guess. Now we are able to search with Postman by tester stock, and this time we are searching with rest assured by tester stock, right? So if you see here, so our tests are working fine. So let's check the Playwright test report also. So here I'll open the index.html report, and here you can see that so we are able to perform the data driven testing using Excel file in Playwright with TypeScript. Correct? In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to implement page object model design pattern in Playwright with TypeScript. So let's start understanding with why page object model is required. What is page object model? Advantages of using page object model. Then we will see what are the disadvantages of using the page object model. Then we will see the sample page object model page class, and next we will see sample page object model Playwright test. Then we will discuss the use case. Then we will start automating the use case by creating the pages. Then finally we will be creating the Playwright test using page object model design pattern. Now let's understand why page object model is required. So if you look at this code snippet, so in the line number 19, 22, 23, 24 and 29 and 31. So if you look at the locators, right? So we are using the same locators here, locator values, but the actions are different here. So firstly, I'm checking whether this element contains the particular text or not. Then I'm checking this element is editable or not. Then I'm checking this element is visible or not, and so on, right? So for example, let's take tomorrow there is a change in the DOM, right? So if I have automated 100 test cases by hard coding the all the locators in multiple spec files or test files, right? So I need to go to the each and every spec file or each and every test. I need to update the all these locators, right? So that will be a big headache. So that's the reason you need to use the page object model. In page object model, we will be keeping the element locator value in the single place, and that will be reused wherever it is required. Let's understand what is page object model. Page object model is a design pattern to create the object repository for the web page elements. For each web page element, there will be a corresponding page class created in the Visual Studio Code. And each page contains the web page elements, and also it contains the methods which will perform the operations on the web page elements. So this is a bit about the what is page object model. Now let's understand what are the advantages of using the page object model. So code will be very cleaner, and also it is easy to understand if somebody is coming to the project newly. Object repository is independent of the test scripts because we are creating the page classes separately, and test script will be optimized because of the elements respective abstraction methods are present in the page classes, right? So these are the three advantages what we have for the using page object model design pattern. So if you look at the disadvantages, so time and effort, it is required more in the initial time of the project implementation. Then, so whatever you are developing a page object model design pattern, so that will be very specific to the project. So you cannot use the same page object model concept in the, whatever you have implemented the page object model for one project, that cannot be used in the project 2 because it is very specific to the project 1. Now let's look at the sample page object model page class. So if you see on the left side, we are creating a separate folder called pages, and inside that we are creating all the pages. So each page will be a class. So this is how exactly it looks like. So we are creating a exportable class, and inside that we are declaring the constructor, and inside that we are initializing the page. Then at last we are creating the all the methods which will perform the actions on the same page. Now let's look at the sample page object model test. So here we are creating a .spec.ts file, and here we are importing all the pages. Then in the Playwright test, we are just creating the object of the respective page, and here by using the reference of the page, we are calling to the methods. If you see here, so in the line number 12, we are calling to the go to URL. So this method is implemented inside the home page, and here we have the go to URL. And next method we have the search with keywords. So same method I'm calling in the next line, that is line number 13. So this is how you can implement the page object model test in Playwright. So far you have learned why page object model is required, what is page object model, advantages, disadvantages, and also you have seen sample page object model page class, and at the end you have seen the sample page object model Playwright test. Now let's start implementing the Playwright with page object model design pattern. So let's discuss the use case first. So here we will go to the google.com. So this is our home page. We will be creating the first page as a home page, and then we will be searching with Playwright by tester stock in search text box. So this is our result page. This is the second page what we are going to create it in the VS Code. And in the result page, we will be clicking on the Playwright by tester stock link. So we are done with second page. So this is our third page called the playlist page. So here we are going to validate the web page title. So this is all about the use case. Let's start creating the pages now. So here I will go inside the src folder. I'm creating the one folder called pages, and inside the pages I'm adding the first page as homepage.ts. Now let's add the second page as result page.ts, and let's add the third page called playlist page.ts. Now let's start implementing the home page. So firstly, let's create a exportable class by using the export class keyword and class name. So here I'm giving the class name as homepage. That's it, guys. Now here we have to declare the constructor. So that is where all the elements will be initialized. So it will say constructor. That's it. So here we have to initialize all the pages, right? So if I have to initialize all the pages, whenever we are creating the object of page home page, it has to accept the browser page object, right? So that's the reason. So here I am declaring the page variable of type page type. So that's it. Now, so once we got the page reference here from the test files, we have to assign back to the our local page reference. So that's the reason here I'm declaring one reference or a variable called page. So which is of type is page type. So that's it. Now inside the constructor, now I can take this page by using the this dot page. I can assign this page to the our internal variable called page. So that's it, guys. We are done with writing the constructor which will initialize all your page elements. Now inside the constructor, you can declare all the elements, and then also you can implement all the methods in this class which will perform the actions in the same page, that is called home page, right? Now we have to go to the again web page. We have to identify the search text box. Then we can perform the actions on the search text box. So let's identify the search text box now. So let me inspect this search text box. So this particular element contains the text area tag and it has multiple attributes and values. So here I'm using the ID value and I'm writing the simple CSS selector by using the hash, and I'm passing the ID value. So we are able to identify the element by using the ID. Let's copy the locator. So here we have to declare all the elements by using the page. So here I'll say page dot locator, and inside this we can pass the locator value, and this has to be assigned to the one variable of type locator type. So that I will declare before our constructor here. So how we have declared the page type here. So similarly I will declare another variable called search text box, so which is of type is locator type. Now what I will do is, whatever we have created the locator here, search text box we have written, we are identifying the search text box by using the CSS selector, right? So I will assign this locator to the our search text box variable by using the this dot variable name. So that's it. So we are done with finding an element, and we have assigned to the variable called search text box. So this is all about the finding an element. Now here I'm implementing two methods. One is go to URL and second one is searching with keywords. So here I'll say async. I'm implementing a method called go to URL. And here, so again I'm using the await. So as usual we are using the page dot, and I'm calling to the method called go to. So in regular test also we are using go to method for going to the particular URL or navigating to the particular URL. So here what I will do is, so here I don't want to hard code the URL. I want to get it from the .env file. So here I will go to the env file. So if you look at this one, already we have defined the property and value here, google.com. So I will fetch this URL by using the Google URL property. So in the single quotes, I will say process dot env dot property name. So that's it, guys. So by using go to URL, I can navigate to the google.com now. Now let's implement the second method called search with keywords. And which will accept the one parameter called keywords. So we are passing the search keywords from the test file. So this parameter is of type string type. So here I'll say string. That's it, guys. Now already we have identified the search text box. By using this search text box, I can perform the actions, right? Now here I'll say await followed by I'm using the element dot. Firstly, I will click on the search text box, and after that I will use the same element. Then I will enter the search keywords inside the fill method. So this is where we are getting the search keywords from our test. So let's pass the keyword here. Then we have to press the enter after entering the search keywords. So here I will use the method called press, and I will pass the enter as the key. So we are done with implementing the home page. So let me summarize what we have done in this file. So firstly, we have created the exportable class, and after that we have created the constructor, and this is where we are initializing all the web page elements. So this page reference we are getting it from our test file, and then we have created a element, and then we have created a go to URL function which will navigate to the specified URL, and at last we are searching with the keywords. So we are done with implementation of the home page. Now let's implement the result page. So I will copy this same structure and I will go to the result page. So let me update the class name here as result page. So that's it. So I don't need this locator in this result page. So if you are working in a real-time projects, you can specify all the elements here, and you can declare all the elements above the constructor. So even I don't need this method also. So in the result page, what we are doing is, so let me search with Playwright by tester stock. In this result page, simply we are clicking on this link, right? So let's go to the VS Code. So we will write a simple method which will click on the specified link. So here I'll say method name as click on playlist. So here I will accept the link name as a parameter to this click on playlist method. And so once we got the link name, we have to click on that particular link. So that's the reason here I'll say await this dot page dot so here I'll get by row, and inside this method I will pass it's a of type link, and let's add the link name also. So here I'll say link. So this variable I'm getting it from our test file. Then I'll say first find the first matching link and perform the click action on the playlist. So that's it guys. We are done with implementing the even result page also. So similarly, let's implement the playlist page also. So I will copy the whole thing and I will go to the playlist page. So let me update the class name first. Playlist page. Then, so here also what we are doing is, so let me click on the playlist page, playlist. So in the result page, we are clicking on this particular link and we are going to the playlist page here. Now in this playlist page, we have to assert the web page title, right? If you look at this one, so we have to assert this text Playwright by tester stock right mark hyphen YouTube. So let's assert this particular text by using the expect. So here I'm creating the one method called validate page title. So here I will accept the expected title from the test file only or a test case only. Then, so here I will use the expect. For any assertions, we need to use the expect followed by, I can get the current page title by using this dot page, and then here I'm calling to the method called to have title, and inside the to have title method I need to pass the expected title. So this expected title I will get it from the test case. I'm passing on to the to have title here. So that's it guys, we are done with implementing the playlist page also. Now let's quickly create a spec file. So here I will go to the chapter 5. Under this I will create a spec file name as 05 underscore page object model test.spec.ts. So that's it guys. And then I will go back to the one of my previous spec file and I will copy the test from the previous spec file. So I will paste it inside the new spec file now. So let me maximize this. So I will delete all the lines from the test which is not required. So let's give the proper name for the test. So here I'll say page object model test in Playwright. So that's it guys. So we are done with creating just a skeleton of the Playwright test. Now what we have to do is we have to create an object of the home page and we have to firstly navigate to this URL. And after that we have to search with the keywords. So let's do it in the spec file. So here I'm creating the first. So here I'll say create object of home page. So similarly, we have to create an object of the other two pages. One is result page, another one is playlist page. So that's it guys. Now let's create an object of the home page first. So here I'll say new followed by that here I'll say home page. So this will accept the page as the parameter. So here we have the page. Let's pass the page to the home page class. Then I will assign back to the one variable called home page. So that's it, guys. We have created a object of the home page by using this reference. So let's go to the URL first. Dot, here I'll say go to URL, which will navigate to the URL. Then next I will again use the home page dot, here I'll say search with keywords method. So for this method we have to pass the search keywords, right? So I will get the search keywords from the our env file only. So here I will go to the .env file, and here we have the search keywords Playwright by tester stock. So let's copy this property name by using the process dot. So here I'll say single quotation flower brackets. Here I'll say process dot, to access the env configurations I'm using the process dot env dot property name. So that's it, guys. So here we are searching with the keywords now. And after that, here we have the result page. We are clicking on the playlist, right? If I have to call to this particular method, I need to create an object of the result page. So let's create a object of the result page also. So here I'll say result page. That's it. And I'll assign back to the reference called result page. So by using this result page, I will call to the method called click on playlist. For this also we have to pass the search keywords, right? So already we have, here we are fetching the search keywords. So the link name is also equal to the search keyword name. So that's the reason I'm passing the same search keyword as a link name in the click on playlist method. So this is accepting the one parameter. If you look at here, right? We are accepting the link, then we are clicking on the link here. So we are done with the result page. Now let's create an object of the playlist page, and we will call to the validate page title. So which will validate the page title. And also we have here we have to pass the title which we want to validate it. So let's create an object of the even playlist page. So here I'll say playlist page. So let me give the proper reference name. So here I have given the reference name as playlist page. By using this playlist page, so here I'll say await. After that, so I'm calling to the method called validate title. So here we have to pass the expected title, right? So this is our expected page title, which is a partial value. Followed by this, I'm adding a plus. And also here we have to pass the right mark hyphen YouTube, right? So let's copy this character. In the single quotation, I will add the right mark hyphen YouTube. Sorry guys, YouTube. So that's it, guys. We are done with implementing the page object model test using the Playwright with TypeScript. Now this is the time to run the test. So let's run the test now. So I will click on the run icon now. So it has open the google.com. So we are searching with the Playwright by tester stock, and also we navigated to the playlist page. And if you see here guys, our test is perfectly working fine, right? Now what I will do is I will pass the different search keywords here. So this time I will pass the Cypress by tester stock. So let's go back to the test. So once again I will run the test. This time we should be able to search with Cypress by tester stock. If you see here guys, so our test is perfectly working fine, and here you can see that our test is passing also. So let's pass the another keyword here. So here I'll say API testing by tester stock. So let me close the previous session, and once again I will run the test. This time we should be able to search with API testing by tester stock, right? So our test is perfectly working fine guys, correct? And if you see the test results also, so our test is passing. So let's open the Playwright test report also. And if you see here, we had only one test and that is getting passed, right? There are no failures. So this is how you can implement the page object model in Playwright with TypeScript. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to execute only changed spec files or a test files in Playwright. So it can be done by using simple command called npx playwright test followed by that -- only -changed. So let's go to the VS Code, and you need to make sure that your project is integrated with GitHub repository. So here I will go to the one of the spec file, and I will modify, or I will add a one console.log statement here. So here I'll say test execution started. So that's it guys. On the left side you can see that, so this line is just now added, so that's the reason you can see that green color on the left side, which is just beside the line number. And also you can see in the source control. So if you select the file, and here you can see the change. So on the left side, this is the GitHub repository file. On the right side, this is the local change, right? Now we have to make sure that whatever we have updated the code in a particular spec file, that is working fine, right? So that can be done very easily just by using the simple command called npx followed by playwright test and -- only -changed. So by using this command, you can run all the modified spec files easily. So before that, so let's go to the page object model test once again. So this particular spec file contains only one test. So if it is containing multiple tests, all of them will be executed as a part of this particular command. So in our case, just only one test is there. It will run only this test. So let's execute the command now. So looks like there is small change required in the command. I have not passed the command name properly. So here I'll say only -changed. So if you look at this one, so we are able to run the test, and it should execute only one test because only one spec file got affected because of our change, and that contains only one test. And if you see here guys, so it is running only one test. And let's go to the report also. Let's cross check it in the report also. And if you see here, we had only one test that is getting passed. And this is our spec file. This is where we have updated the code, and this is our test. So this is how you can run the changed spec files in Playwright. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to maximize browser and how to set the viewport size in the global configuration, and also I will discuss how to set the viewport size in the individual test level also. So you can maximize the browser by just passing this configuration in the playwright.config.ts file. And this configuration will work in few systems and it may not work in few systems. So it depends on the operating system and the screen sizes. So in my case, I'm using Mac operating system with 15 inches. So if I pass this configuration, my browser is not maximizing. So let's try this now. So here I will go to the playwright.config.ts file, and inside the use, you need to pass this configuration. Sorry guys. So that's it. So here I'm passing this configuration. Let me format this file. So that's it guys. So here we have added the launch options, and then we are passing the args as --start -maximized, right? So let's go to the one of the test and run the test now. So if I run the test, so it is not maximizing my browser. And if you see here guys, screen is very small and it is not maximizing the fully browser. And if you see here, our test is passing, correct? And if this configuration is working in your case, you can go ahead and use this configuration. And if it is not working, so you can go for the second option where you can set the viewport size guys. So these are the very commonly used screen sizes. You can try using these, and also you can pass the custom screen size also, right? Now let's see how you can set the global viewport size to maximize the browser. So let me go to the VS Code now. I will comment this part, so which is not working for us. So you can try this, and if it is not working, you can go for the viewport size. So here I came to the Google Chrome project, and inside the project here, and here you need to pass the one parameter called viewport and put the colon, and you need to pass the object here. And inside this object, you need to pass the two values. One is width and another one is height. So here I will pass the one of the size from the our list. So here I will pass 1920 and 1080. So here I'll say width as 1920 and height I will pass it as 1080. So previously our browser was not maximizing it. Now if I run the test, and it should maximize the browser. So let's go to the same test. So I will run the test once again. And if you see here guys, so our browser got maximized, right? So you can see that. So previously browser was displayed in the half of the screen only. Now this time, so our browser got maximized, right? So simply you can set the configurations in the under the project and under the particular browser, and you can pass the viewport as width and height. So this is how you can pass the configuration at the global level. And also you can set the viewport at the test level also. So let me maximize this. So simply you can use the await followed by page dot, and here you can call to the method called setViewPortSize. And if you see this particular method, so here also you can pass the size of the screen. Simply you can specify the object. Within the object you need to pass the width and height like this. So that's it guys. So this is how you can set the viewport at the test level. Now I will show you how you can get the custom screen size. So you can go to the any browser and web page, and here you go to the console. So these are the some already defined screen sizes, and also you can get the any web page screen size just by going to the console of the web application, and here you need to type inner width. So this will give you a width size. The width size is 1047. So simply you need to pass the width as 1047, and similar way you can get the inner height also. And if you see here guys, inner height is 927. So these two values you can set at the test level if it is required. Otherwise you can set this configuration at the global level in the playwright.config.ts file. So this is how you can maximize the browser, and this is how you can set the browser viewport size in Playwright automation testing. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to implement fixtures in Playwright automation framework. So we will implement the simple global hooks where before each will be executed and after each will be executed. That means before running the test, some block of code will be executed, and after running the test, some block of the code will be executed. So how you can implement it at the project level? Because you have seen in the previous tutorial how you can implement the hooks at the spec file level. But this time we are going to implement the global hooks. So let's go to the VS Code now. So here I'm creating the one folder under src called fixture, and inside the fixture I'm creating a file called testfixture.ts. So that's it. And here I will go to the one of my file. So I will copy this simple code and I'll paste it here. So it is very simple guys. So this code. So whatever the code is written before the line number 7. So this code will be executed before running each test. And whatever the code I'm writing it after the await use. So this code will be executed after running each test. Just for the demo purpose, I have added the console.log statement here. Now let's go to our test folder and we will create a simple test now. So here I'm creating the one spec file called 06 underscore. So here I'll say fixture test dot spec.ts. So that's it guys. So here I will go to the page object model test and I will copy the test from the previous spec file and I will paste it inside the new spec file. So that's it guys. So it is very simple, guys. In this test, what we are doing is we are going to the google.com. Then we are searching for with some keywords here. And then once we got the results, we are clicking on the some playlist. And at the end, we are validating the page title here. So it is very simple test. Now what I will do is here in the line number 2, we are importing it from the test. We are importing it from the @playwright/test. Now I will import it from the fixture. So I will comment this part. So let's import the test from the fixture what we have just implemented it. So here I'll say import followed by that test. And then here I'll say from, and here we have to specify the path of our fixture. So our test fixture is present inside the src fixture, and we have the test fixture.ts file. So here I'll say 2 once again slash. Here we have to go to the src folder, and inside the src we have the fixture folder, and inside we have the test fixture folder, test fixture ts file. So we are done with the importing the test fixture. Now just to cross check after the execution, here I'm writing the console.log statement. So here I'll say test execution started, and similarly I will add the another console.log statement at the end of the test execution. So here I'll say another console.log statement test execution ended, so that we can check the cross check it after the execution is done. So our test is ready, guys, now. So firstly, so this block of code should be executed, and then our test should be executed, and after running the test, so it has to execute this block of code. So let's run the test now. So here let me update the title of the test also. Here I'll say implementing fixture in Playwright. So let's run the test, guys, now. So it has launched the browser and it is searching with the keywords, and now it went to the playlist, and here it is validating the page title. And if you see here, guys, our test is perfectly working fine. There are no failures. So let's look at the output. And if you see here, guys, so firstly global before is running, right? So which is coming from the test fixture, and then our test execution is happening here, and then at the end global after each is running, which is from the test fixture. So this is how you can implement the fixtures in Playwright automation framework. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to optimize page object model test with the help of fixture. So let's go to the VS Code quickly, and let's create a new spec file under chapter 5. So here I'll say 07, and here I'll say optimized POM underscore test dot spec dot ts. That's it. And here I will go to the page object model test, and I will copy the test from the previous spec file. So if you look at this test, guys, so let me maximize this window. So here we have imported all these pages, and if you are using 10 pages, 15 pages, you need to import all these pages here. Or if you are writing a test in the multiple spec file, you need to import all these pages also there, right? And then another thing here is you are always creating the object of the each page class everywhere, right? So there is a better approach to handle all these imports and creating the all page class objects. By using the fixture, you can achieve this. You can keep all the imported pages in single file, and also you can create the object of each page class at once, and that same reference can be used in the different spec files. So let's go to the fixture now. So let's make some changes here. So here in this file, I'm adding the firstly all the pages references. So inside the our extend, so let me add the first page reference as home page. So which is of type is home page type. So similarly, let's add the result page. So which is of type result page type. So automatically you can see at the top all the imports are automatically getting added to the current TS file. So similarly, let's add the playlist page. So here I'll say playlist page colon. So let's add the playlist page here. So that's it, guys. We are done with adding the all these references. So you can use this reference in the spec file. So before using this reference in the spec file, you need to create a object of the each page, correct? So let's create a object of the each file. So simply I will copy this snippet of code which will create a object of the each page class. So simply go down here after the auto set for the true. So let's add this code snippet. So here what I am doing is simply I am creating the object of the one page and I'm assigning back to the variable called home page. So you can see that. So there is another reference assigned. So this reference is coming from the top here. So this reference and this reference should be always matching. So if it is not matching, so you will not get the object of the home page. So here I have added the home page. So let's add the similarly result page and then playlist page. So here I'll add the result page. So let's use the result page reference. So make sure that you are passing to the use method also. So at last we will add the playlist page. So here I will use a playlist page reference. And then I will add the playlist page reference in the use also, right? So we are done with adding the references and also we have created the object of the each page class. Correct, guys? So we are done with test fixture now. Let's go to our test file. So here, so I will comment all this, importing the pages first. Then here I will comment the line where we are creating the object of the each page class. So here I will comment the line number 18 also, then line number 21 also. Now if you see here, guys, only references are there here. right? How you can get the references which we have created in the test fixture, right? So you might be having this question. It is very easy, guys. How you are getting the page here, similarly you can get the references here. So let's load the first home page. So before that, guys, what you need to do is, so you need to import the test fixture here. So let's import this test fixture. So I will comment this part also now. So here I'll say import, followed by that. So I will add the test, and that's it, guys. Now here we have imported the our test fixture. So it is very important, guys. So you need to use this particular test fixture. This is where we have created the each reference and respective page class object also. Now you can get the each reference what we have created. If you see here, so we got the home page. Let's get the result page also, then playlist page. So that's it, guys. If you see here, now there are no errors. Let's clean up all the code. So this is very simple, guys, now, correct? So let me delete all this import. Now our test is ready. So let's run the test now, and it should work properly without any issues. So it has opened with the URL, and here we should be able to search with some keywords. And if you see here, and we need to click on the playlist, and here we have to validate the page title. And if you see here, our test is perfectly working fine. There are no issues. And also let's check the playlist test report. And if you see here, guys, our test is passing, and here you can see that our spec file and test is running here, correct? So there are no issues. So this is how you can optimize the Playwright page object model test by using the fixture. In this Playwright video, I will talk about how to run Playwright test on multiple environments. It can be QA environment, it can be dev environment, it can be staging environment, it can be prod environment also. So let's start with creating the environment variable, configuration variable in the .env file. Then we will create the test data for each environments. Then we will create a simple interface where we are defining the test data structure, and then we are going to create the utility method that is going to read all the JSON files from the specified environment. Then we will quickly create one Playwright test, and we will run the Playwright test. Now let's get started with the implementation. So let's add the firstly configuration in the .env file, and here I will go to the .env file. I'm adding the configuration as QA. So you can pass this test execution env value from the test-data. So if based on this particular folder name, you can pass the value here, so it will pulls the respective test data based on the environment name. So that is all about the test execution env configuration. Now let's create the test data file inside the QA folder and the dev folder. So here I'm creating a one JSON file inside the QA folder right now. So here I'll say new file, and here I'm giving the file name as module1 testdata.json, and inside this we are adding this particular test data. So just you can remember this particular object name and what exactly this data contains. So we are adding just skill 1, skill 2 and skill 3. So it is good if you are able to remember the what exactly each key and value contains, so that you can cross check it in the later when we are running the test. So similarly, let's create another JSON test data file. So simply I'll copy this and I'll paste it inside the dev also. So only thing is here I will update the test data. So here I will go to our file and I will add the dev test data here. And if you see here guys, so each JSON file contains the different test data. So inside the QA we have the skill 1 is Playwright by tester stock, but if you go to the dev test data, so here we have the skill 1 as API testing by tester stock. So we have the different sets of test data in the dev and QA environment. So this is a bit about the test data creation for each environment. Now let's create the one interface. So where we are defining the test data structure. So inside the SRC, I'm creating a one folder called interface, and inside this folder I'm creating the TS file. So which is model1 testdata.interface.ts file, and let's add the content inside the file. So just we are defining the test data structure. So this is the interface name. So we are adding the skill 1, skill 2 and 3, and type of the data we are just specifying it here. And if you go to our test data file, which is in a JSON format, so we have the 3 keys here, and which is the string type of data. So that's the reason I have added the 3 key names and respective type of data which is going to accept it. And at the end we are just converting this into our test data type. So we are exporting this test data. So just you remember this interface name, because we are using this interface name in our test fixture to fetch the data. Now, so let's create our JSON helper TypeScript file. So I will copy this file name and inside the utils. So here I'm creating the one file called JSON helper.ts. So let me close other files. So let's copy this code. So what it does is, so it is going to read all the files from the specified directory. So let me maximize this file. So here in the line number 1, 2 and 3, just we are doing the imports firstly, and then here we are importing our interface also. So that is where we have declared the test data structure also. Then, so here I'm getting the environment name, what we have specified it in the .env file. So by default it will consider the QA environment if you have not added any value for the test execution env property. So in the directory path, so we will be getting the test data location with the environment name. So once we have the directory, so we will get to know whether it is a dev folder or a QA folder. So once we are having this idea, so here we are iterating each and every file which is ending with the extension .json. So once we have the file name, so we are iterating each and every file, and we are accessing the content from each and every file here. Then here we have a one JSON data object. So that is where we are adding the file content. And then at the end, we are returning the JSON data object. So that's it, guys. It is a very simple method. So it is going to read all the files from the specified directory. Now let's move on to the next step. So here we have to go to our test fixture, and we have to import these two things. So let's import it. So here I will go to our test fixture, which is inside the fixture. So let's add the import of these two. So this load test data, which is coming from the JSON helper, guys. So just now we have added this utility method in the JSON helper. So we are loading this in the test fixture first. Then after that, we are loading the test data from the interface. If you see this interface, so we are loading this particular test data interface, which contains the test data structure. Now, once you import all these two things in the test fixture, so we have to add the one reference called test data, that is of type test data type, and then we have to call the load test data function. So that is going to return all the data here like this. So let's go to the fixture now. So that is where we are loading the test data here. Then firstly, let's add the test data here, reference. So which is of type is test data. That's it. So let's call our utility function. If you see here, so we have to call this function, then only we will get the respective data based on the environment. So here I'm just putting the comma and I'm adding the code snippet here. So it is very much similar how we are creating the object of the each page class, right? So here we are just calling this function instead of creating the object here. So once we call this function load test data, this is going to return us all the test data, and we are assigning to the one variable called data, and then we are passing on to the use, right? So once you are done with all this setup in the test fixture, now let's create a new spec file. So we will go to URL method, and we will update the little bit of code there. So based on the environment, you need to fetch the required URL. So I will just copy this. So we'll copy it a bit later, and let's create one spec file inside the chapter 5. So here I'll say 08 underscore run test based on env.spec.ts. So that's it, guys. So here I will go to my previous spec file optimized POM test, and I will copy the test from the previous spec file. Then I will paste it in the new spec file, and here I will go to the one method called go to URL. So if you see here, guys, directly we are fetching the URL from the env file. So based on the environment, you need to fetch the URL also. So let's copy this code snippet. So here I have just written one if else condition. So based on the if else condition, we are going to fetch the URL. So let me explain you what exactly I am doing here. So here I'm reading the property called test execution env. So if it is equal to this, so you need to fetch this particular URL, and if it is not equal to the QA, and if it is equal to the dev, you can fetch this particular URL, right? So in our case, I'm using the only single URL. So that's the reason I am not passing the different property here. But you can cross check it after the execution of the test case. So here if it is coming inside this particular if condition, if it is running in the QA environment, if any test is running inside the QA environment, so we are going to print what is the environment name. And if my test is running inside the dev, so we are going to print the environment name, right? So this is where you can cross check it. So in my case, I am not passing the different URLs. Now let's go to our next step. So here you need to specify the test data dot, and you need to specify the object name, and you need to specify the key name to get the particular skill in your test. So let's copy this, and to access the test data, you need to get the reference in the current spec file. So let's get the reference here. So we have given the one reference called test data. So if you see here in this test fixture, so we are just using this reference name as test data. So that's it, guys. Now once we are having this test data reference, you can fetch the data easily. So here I'm getting the skill 1 by just using the test data dot module 1 test data dot skill name. Sorry, here I am specifying the key name, so which is present in the JSON file. So similarly, I will pass to the playlist also. Click on playlist, and then while validating the page title also, I need to pass that particular skill. Right, guys? So let's try to print the other 2 and 3 skill also. So here at the end of the test, I will write the console.log statement. So whenever we are running the test in a different environments, so that after printing the text from each JSON file, so we can make sure that it is working fine. So here I'll say just skill colon. So simply I will print this particular data. So here I'll say $, and inside the flower brackets I'll specify the skill here. So firstly, already anyway we are getting the skill 1 here, so let me print it once again. So similarly I will print the skill 2 and skill 3. So here I'll say skill 2 and next I'll say skill 3. So that's it, guys. So almost we are ready with our test. Now if I look at this my environment, so here I'm setting the QA, and let me close all the files first. In the .env file, I'm setting the environment name as QA, and if I go to the QA folder, so here I'm searching in the Google with the Playwright by tester stock first time, because I'm setting the configuration value as the QA. So it has to pick the skill 1 as Playwright by tester stock, right? So if you see my spec file also, so this is where I'm accessing the skill 1. So if I pass here dev, right? So it has to get the data from the dev folder, and we should be able to search with the API testing by tester stock. So in our case, already we have set for the QA, and we should be able to search with the Playwright by tester stock. So let's run the test now. So let me close other tabs, and let's run the test. So first time we should be able to search with Playwright by tester stock because configuration is set for the QA. And if you see here guys, so our test is perfectly working fine. And if you go to the VS Code, so our test is passing, right? Now I will go to the env file. Now here I will pass the dev. So before I run this test, right guys, so let's go to our output, and here you can see that so our test is running in QA environment, and also you can see the all three skills from the our JSON file which is present inside the QA folder. So if I go to the test data QA, so all the skills are present inside the QA folder, correct? Now this time we are running in a dev environment. We should be able to fetch all these values. So that's the reason I have written the console.log statement to make sure we are fetching the right data. Now this time we should be able to search with API testing by tester stock, and also we should be able to print all these values from the dev environment. So let's run the test once again. And if you see here guys, we are able to search with API testing by tester stock, and also we are able to fetch all the tested data from the dev environment. So here you can see that I'm able to fetch each and every key and respective value from the dev environment. And also here you can see that in which environment I'm able to run the test also. So this is how you can run the Playwright test in multiple environments.